My boy Yuta handling business. My boy Yuta stepping up and taking care of business. My gosh, dude. Gojo's over here out of commission. Yuta shows up and says, don't worry, I'll take the baton. I got this handled. I'm not going to let him have to kill his friend again. I'll take care of this whole situation. I'll get the points we need for the rule changing. Don't worry, I got that handled as well. Oh, these bad people that are harming innocent, I'll take care of them as well. Like, dude's just like stepping up and staining his hands. And it kind of goes to his character because it really does feel like, obviously, with the movie, a lot of his character development happened there. Like, he went through so much stuff with Rika and everything like that, the acceptance of her death, and just sort of like how that sort of stilled his heart. He really does feel like a very matured but also very broken individual that is able to kind of step up and take care of business without having that, that hesitation. He really has zero hesitation with all this stuff, and it does seem like a lot of his reasoning for not completely going full-on kill mode is that his friends don't want it. Be thankful of my friends. I don't really care. I'll just take you out if I need to. Again, I'm just worried about Sensei and him not having to kill his friend again. But yeah, this episode overall, really fantastic episode. And I do give it a lot of credit here, and I give it a lot of credit to the author as well, but obviously. I give it a lot of credit here because typically with like these long fight sequences, which was this was being, of course, an extended long episode, with these long fight sequences, I typically kind of check out at some point. I had this argument a lot with The Last Core. I was getting to these points where things were flying all over the place, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. And like at some point I just check out from the action. It's unfortunate. That's just how my brain works anymore. But this episode worked really well because it's constantly changing. Like the entire fight sequence, there's things that are constantly changing. Yuta goes from fighting one individual to the next individual to the next individual, and then we're combining all the individuals, and then the next individual comes back in, and then we go back to the first individual, and it goes in this whole like, one-on-one fight, and then it comes to the ultimate climax of it. It's a really good kind of sequence that keeps things changing, keeps things evolving the entire fight. And of course, yes, revealing the things around Yuta's abilities and whatnot, which are very, very interesting. I get this one of those moments where I think back to the movie and trying to remember exactly everything they got into with Yuta's character. Obviously, the initial reveal around Yuta was the fact that he had Rika. He had this cursed spirit that was with him, and he was manifesting and everything. And at some point, we have the, sending Rika off. Rika's finally able to rest, and it gets into what actually is happening there, and his, sort of holding on to that. Holding on to Rika, rather than him being haunted by Rika, he was holding on to her. And that gets into like this manifestation of this new being that isn't Rika anymore. This cursed spirit that he's able to control. But that was kind of the extent of it. I mean, he was really incredible. He was a really smart boy. They got into this aspect that he was able to, manifest cursed speech and all that kind of stuff through kind of learning it over a year. All this cool stuff. He was a prodigy. Getting into this whole sequence here, I think this is pretty much the point which we're revealing that he's able to copy abilities, which is pretty crazy. Yes, during some point of the fight, he's of course trying to fight without Rika because he wants Rika to protect the people. At some point, he finally goes, okay, I think we're far enough. I want to get further away, but it's fine. Okay, let's get started. He puts the ring on with Rika, and suddenly she's fully manifest behind him, and at some point during this fight sequence, it reveals that he's able to copy abilities. Now, specifically what they're picking up on is that he's feeding parts to Rika, and that's giving him the ability to copy their abilities. And he's picking it up immediately. Again, this is counter to what we kind of seen with the movie where he pulls out this like megaphone speaker and it's got the symbols of, this art, and he's able to do the cursed speech. Here, he's literally just throw the part over to Rika and then boom, he's using it. It's like instantaneous. He's not having to learn or use some sort of tool. He's literally just copying everybody, which is pretty dang crazy. Yes, there's the obvious, difficulty there. The condition that has to be met, which is seemingly feeding a part to Rika, but still, even then, that's pretty damn incredible. So it implies the fact that during this entire segment right here, he's fed Duvra to it, which that gave him the ability to sort of create a boundary wherever their Shigami goes. And then Uro's part goes into Rika, and now he's able to bend like the sky itself. Bend the sky to where it can sort of move things around and whatnot. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he got anything out of Ishigori, which is probably a good thing. He's probably like, no, don't bother with eating parts of him because I'm not going to wear a pompadour. I'm legit not wearing a pompadour. I don't want to have that beam ability, even though it seemed pretty cool having the whole Cyclops thing going on, being able to like rocket around with this freaking jet thing on my head, but no, I'm not wearing a pompadour. Going into the two characters here, I do think it's interesting that we have Uro and Ishigori are sort of like opposites to each other. The fact that Uro is somebody that has like massive regrets because of what happened with her and the Fujiwara clan. But Ishigori is the opposite in the idea that he is somebody that has no regrets with his past life. These are both reincarnates, but Ishigori doesn't have any regrets. So why did he, in the end, make a pact with Kenjaku? Like she was saying, nobody would make a pact with them if they had a fulfilling life. Here's Ishigori, and he's doing it. It implies that Ishigori, in the end, he claims that he has no regrets, but in the end, he wasn't satisfied. In the end, he was still not satisfied. He wanted desserts. He never got the desserts. He had everything else, great life and everything, but he didn't have this. I'm guessing it's implying the idea, that final thing, that final climax. I had everything the days were great. I had everything I wanted, and then I didn't have dessert at the end of that meal, and I lost my life at that point, or I'd passed on. Here he's trying to get that one last big bang. But yeah, Ishigori himself was an interesting individual. I kind of wonder what it would be like to see somebody like him in the past, back when he made this pact with Kenjaku. Like back in his previous life, is a guy walking around with a pompadour back then? He had this big pompadour on his head that he's able to adjust and turn into a beam. Why is it always the beam attacks with these shonens? It's always like this, like a fruitiness to it, like the sparkles and everything with it. It's always like My Hero Academia is the same way, like the whole sparkle thing with the belly button. This guy's got the sparkle thing with the pompadour. But yeah, he was an interesting individual, able to kind of like focus it, make it a lot more sharper and whatnot. Again, his whole shtick with Yuta, talking about wanting to have this one last dessert. That's the only reason he's there, and he's fighting him. Their fight together was pretty awesome. I think a lot of the enjoyment of his fight is really in Uro kind of getting involved the entire time, but ultimately coming to the end where he's trying to push Yuta to have that one last big fight. Here, charge up your laser, come on. And it's all, the narration's like, Yuta cannot overcome him with just pure beam. So he's actually planning on shooting him before he starts it. But then he sees his face and he gets encouraged that he wants to actually do it. It's like Yuta's like, okay, let's do it. He's like, I was just going to shoot you, but okay, man, let's do it. Let's do some crazy thing here. Ultimately using the bending to kind of send his beam up and come back down on him. It was really cool. But Uro was more interesting because Uro, when she shows up, she immediately was trying to keep Ishigori around because it seems like she wanted him to get rid of Kuro, the cockroach. But yeah, during her fight with Yuta, at some point he starts to question why she wants to fight. She's somebody strong. She shouldn't be desperate for points. Why is she doing this? And she reveals that she believes that they're there because they have to build up points for some sake of this second reincarnation. Like, she's like, yeah, I have regrets. That's why I'm here. And now that I'm here, obviously there's a point system here. I need to have this for something later on. She's just assuming that Kenjaku's got something set up here, that these points have to be important for the second incarnation, and I'm going to need them for that. So I need to build up points. Pretty basic, pretty simple here. But yes, a lot of her, again, opposite to Ishigori, is massive regrets. Again, it seems like she was wronged by the Fujiwara clan. She seems to imply some sort of ties with Yuta and that clan. I'm guessing sees some sort of similarity in his techniques or something like that, and thus she's getting stuck on that whole thing there. But it seems like Yuta accepts it. In the end, after talking to Ishigori at the end there, he's like, dude, you got like a lover's quarrel or something like that? And he's like, something like that. He's like, I don't really want to say anything to her. There's nothing I can really say to her. It's just going to cause problems. So I'm blessed. It's just going to upset her. It's going to start a fight. So he's not even bothering with talking to Uro, implying that he understands why she's upset, which could imply the idea that he's tied to the Fujiwara clan in some way. But Kuro Urushi, not really much to talk about with the individual there, other than the fact this is a cursed spirit that is, based on cockroaches, which is terrifying in its own right. But the fight itself was epic. I think that was a really great start to the episode, just like him just darting in there and trying to grab the person. The animation there was really freaking amazing. But the oddity that I found about Kuro Urushi is that, yes, he's trying to keep from using his reversed curse technique in order to, not reveal it to everybody else. But as they're fighting, at some point, he decided he has to kiss him. And I'm guessing at that point he used the reverse curse technique because Uro picked up on it. She's like, oh, you can use that. So I'm guessing that he had to do it. Like, he's like, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to try to defeat him without using it. I can't bring Rika on me, so I got to figure out some other way to kill this thing. Okay, I'm getting my butt kicked. He's freaking sliced my arm. I'm guessing it's implying that whatever he cuts sort of gets infected by the roaches and they're able to come out of those wounds or whatever. But either way, it's like he's got his back to the ropes, and so he decides to French kiss the damn thing and reverse curse technique with the mouth. I'm like, what? Wait, did he just, okay, yeah, she's saying, all right, whatever. That was an odd way of injecting it, but okay, that's interesting. The only thing that was really odd about Kuro Urushi was how he managed to seemingly remove the barriers on all of the domains. Once they get into this fight and, they do their domain expansions and they're all like three-way domain expansion happening, for some reason, Kuro Urushi has the ability to kind of just swarm in and break the barrier. I don't really know how he pulled that off other than it just being like this pest that just kind of gets into everything like, roaches technically do. That's the only thing I can really think of there. But that all said, really cool fights. Really enjoyed the episode overall. It kind of wrapped up the episode with a kind of a warning to Yuta. And when, Ishigori's asked about Uro and the fact that he left him alive, they both apparently handed over their points. But it cuts to her saying, "You're the one who will reach their limit. I've seen it." And then it shows what looks like Sukuna. Be it sorcerer or cursed spirit, those who surpass the bounds of being strong all have overwhelming egos. They don't concern themselves with other things, their calamities. I don't think this is really the case for him if it's implying that she's seeing that he's going to go down this cursed path, because, again, I think that's where he was before, he found friends. Right now, he's an individual that, like he says with Ishigori, be thankful of my friends. He's a type of person that doesn't seem like he has those boundaries other than what Sensei wants and what the friends want. And as long as those things are around to sort of keep him in check, he seems to go along with those. Otherwise, it doesn't seem like he's very, doesn't care. It doesn't seem like he cares much. So I don't think that he'll fall into what she believes there, but it could also be that she's talking about something else. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode. We had a little bit of a montage of different characters before it cut to the to be continued, which, duh. Hey guys, shocking here. We're going to have another season of Jujutsu Kaisen. Did you see that coming? No. One thing to note with the little montage is that, yeah, at some point we see Angel's dragging Megami around. But then it cuts over to the sister. I think it's the sister in the wheelchair. So I guess that kind of kills my theory, the idea that they're different. Now, it could be that they're still working together, that she is working from a distance and has made some sort of agreement with Angel for some reason. And maybe Angel's taken Megami back to his sister. But that does kind of kill my theory around the idea of Angel being some sort of manifestation of Megami's sister. But it's fine. It's fine that my theory falls apart. I make a lot of theories that completely fall apart. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the finale of Jujutsu Kaisen. Really fantastic core. I'm really happy that I got back into this. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, I'm like, last core, I just wasn't really feeling it. I felt like I was falling out of love of Jujutsu Kaisen overall, and I was really happy to kind of dive into this one, how much it kind of grabbed my interest again. And maybe it's because maybe I'm in the mood for it. I don't know. Maybe I just want a really fun action show with some little juicy bits in it or not, but it worked out for me, and I'm really happy about it. Maybe it's just that in the end, it's just getting better. I have heard a lot of positive things about the Culling Games arc, so maybe it's that in particular, but either way, I'm happy that I dived back into it, and I've been really enjoying it. And I appreciate you guys dropping by weekly to see my coverage of it, even if I won't always say things that people like. I got a lot of downvotes on my comments about the goofy introduction of the comedian guy, but it was still fun. I like expressing my opinions on this stuff, and let's all have fun talking about it. But anyways, I hope you guys will join me next time when it comes back around, but I appreciate you guys' support and all that stuff, and you all take care.